I talked about the land formation being mostly sandstone, and Mother Nature has a heyday with this. And we're coming to a place here called Indian Head, which Mother Nature crafted. Ken is going to possibly, he's going to at least slow down and maybe stop the bus right here to give you people a chance to get a picture of Indian Head. I challenge you to find Indian Head, but it's a little bit different, so I'm going to give you a clue. It faces the mainland. We're not even close to seeing it yet. For those of you who think you see it, you can't see it yet. But you, with my little clue, you should be able to pick it out. There's an opportunity for you to take pictures, but after you see it, I'm going to pass around a picture so that you can get a better idea of what it looks like. We're almost there. I can see it now. Don't be shy. Get up, take a picture. Can anyone see it? You starting to see it? Okay. There's a little story that goes with this Indian Head, and I'll tell you once we leave here. This is a very popular camping site. In the summertime, the camping ground is now closed. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Folks, it's a profile. But I didn't want to tell you that right off the bat. I might make you work a little bit for it. It's pretty neat, huh? You see the tears on his face? This is a nice cove, and I see there's a lot of, I think it's cormorants, but very often you see seals right here in the cove as well. There's a lot of seals on the coast. And I think those heads that we see, I think those are black cormorants that are out there on the water. They're not seals, the heads are not big enough. Okay, I'm going to send a picture around. On the front is Indian Head as you see it today, but if you flip it to the back, you'll see it in its winter dress. Okay, there is a story about Indian Head, and it goes like this. A big ship came from a faraway land, and they anchored here, and they came into land to get supplies and fresh water. And there was this lovely Indian princess playing with the children. Well, they captured the princess, and they took her away to their faraway land. The picture of the Indian Head is of her lover, who turned his back on the ocean and will never look at the ocean until she is returned. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. This area here is called Point St. Peter. The little island out there is called Plateau, and it still has a light there on the island, but that was a very busy lighthouse in the time when the people from this area were fishing. They counted, and they still count on that light to navigate these waters at nighttime. This was a very, very lucrative fishing area called Point St. Peter. Folks, I am very sad to announce that you will not get your first view of Percé Rock, because I think they brought it in for repairs. It's looking like they brought it in for repairs. Maybe some of Ken's family is repairing it because he's from the town of Percé. They're making another hole, he says. But we should be able to see it in just a few seconds here, but it's not going to happen today. We're not going to see, well, we see Percy. If we squint, we might see Percy in the distance, but I think that's pushing it. I'm pulling at straws. But it's a very beautiful view that you see from the Barishwa side of Percy. I think in one of the pictures that I sent around, you can see Percy Rock from the Barishwa side. It's the picture that is taken from my home. No, we're not going to see Percy Rock today. I'm going to be telling you all about Percy Rock. I'm going to send you a couple of pictures of it. Start Louise going this way. When you're finished, just bring the pictures back here. But before I get to talk about Percy Rock, I want to talk about Barishwa. Beautiful Barishwa, land of my birth. The nicest place on the face of the earth. Barishwa is a little village east of Percy, and the town is called Barishwa. We're arriving to it now. But it also has the most spectacular Barishwa in the province of Quebec, of which there are 9 Barishwas in the province of Quebec. Ours is the most spectacular, and it spans 11 square kilometers in area. We haven't quite arrived there yet, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. And 3 freshwater rivers, also all salmon rivers, empty into the ocean here, and it makes it a really great ecological grounds for vegetation, for birds and waterfowl. There are over 200 different species of birds that nest on the Barishwa here in the spring and summer. There are 2 new birds that were found just in the last 5 years. One is the yellow rail, and the other is the Nelson's sharp-tailed sparrow. This is a real mecca for bird watchers in the summertime. They come from all over, Europe, the US, other parts of Canada. There's also 25 different species of fish, starting with the little mummycocks and killifish, banded killifish, to the Atlantic salmon, and now in the last 5 years, striped bass have come to this area. I don't know if anybody knows why. I think it's because of the warmer temperature, but we are inundated with them. It is unbelievable. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them, and they're allowed to be fished. They even extended it to the end of September this year for sports fishermen. You're only allowed to keep 1 striped bass per day, and it has to be a certain length. You can't keep the larger ones. It's the same thing with the Atlantic salmon. You're only allowed to keep the grills, which is anything under 24 inches. Anything over that has to be drawn back. So and you can fish for salmon right here in Barishwa on the ocean side, right next to the bridge here. My husband is an avid salmon fisherman, and he fishes here all the time in the summer. He was very unlucky this year. He did catch several salmon, but they were all too big to keep. He never got 1 grill this summer. He did catch 1 little sea trout, a little 14-inch sea trout. That was delicious, but we did not taste Atlantic salmon from the ocean this summer. So, okay, we have come to the town of Barishwa. This little village was very popular, and when the fishermen came many years ago from Europe, they were fishing in Percy but the wives and children, a lot of them lived in Barachois and farmed the land. The men fished there all winter, and Barachois became developed by people coming to Barachois for the winter. We're starting to see, there's the bridge, where on this side is the ocean, so that it's federal waters, and you're allowed to fish salmon there. Also, the bass fishermen fish right out on the sandbar there when the tide is right. Obviously, the tide is not right now. That's why there's no one there. But this is the start, right here, the start of the Barachois, which, like I said, is 11 square kilometers. In the month of June and July, the birds there, well, there's 200 different species, so, you know, there are a lot of birds there. I am fortunate. I live on this road up there about 3/4 of a mile, so we look out onto the ocean in Percy Rock. Lovely, lovely place. I get to kayak these waters all the time in the summertime. And, you know, we get to see the ducks with their ducklings, like, you know, 10, 12 little ducklings that are swimming alongside of our kayaks. We get to see salmon jumping for mosquitoes. It's wonderful. This is our church, Catholic church. Most of the churches in Quebec and on the Gaspé are Catholic, but we do have several different religions, you know, Protestant, Anglican, you know, we have all religions are here. Our Legion is here, very popular in the town. And just as an aside, I'm related to almost every household here. Okay? just to let you know, it's an uncle or an aunt or a cousin, almost every house in this whole area. My mom is just over there. And definitely you see, this used to be big farming country. Now there's no farms at all. This was all farming, big time, when I was a child growing up. This is our little restaurant in town. It's a wonderful little cafe that specializes mainly in waffles and seafood. The husband of that household is a local artist who's done very well. It's a man by the name of Gilles Côté, and you know, the art is for sale there. So it's a nice little place. Have another nice picture here of the Barachois, an aerial view, and on the back is Percy Rock taken from Mount St. Anne, or on a level on the way to Mount St. Anne in Percy, and it's my family with our skidoos, a lovely picture of Percy Rock in the winter. So I'm going to pass this around as well. We'll sign up so this way. Okay, tell us about Percy Rock. I want to tell you about Percy Rock and about Bonaventure Island. Unfortunately, you didn't get to see it. Let's just hope that you will see it in Percy. Percy Rock, as you saw in the pictures, kind of looks like a big ship, taller at one end. It's said to weigh 5 million tons, and it loses between 2 and 3 million tons. 2 and 300 tons per year. So there's always rock. It's made of limestone, and it erodes easily because of the ebb and flow of the tide, the harsh conditions. So there's always rock falling off. And at one time, we used to walk out to the rock as kids, and you know, have a lot of fun. You'd stay out there as long as you can until the tide starts to rise, and then you try to get, because it's connected on low tide to the